So I was doing some tests with crit damage on a bow. My bow here, 15% crit damage, 0% dex versus a 10% dex bow. As you can see, it gives me like 1300 damage and 171 dex. Guess what? The crit damage bow outperformed a 10% dex bow in damage. So I'm gonna equip my 15% dex bow here, and I'm gonna show you guys the basic numbers. I'm not gonna go ahead and just do a full-on test where I have to rely on procs and stuff. See if I got my bow equipped. Yeah, my 15% crit damage bow is equipped. And then I have only Kraken bow. And then I'm gonna unequip my pet. So now I have just this stuff. None of this stuff, other stuff will proc, none of it. I even unequipped this freediver belt so it doesn't proc as well. So now I'm gonna test the bow damage right here with 50% or 15% crit damage, 30,000 damage, or 152,000, okay. 152k with 15% crit damage. And then I'm going to switch over to the 10% dex bow here, and I'm going to do the same thing. Proc this bow is the only thing I'm going to proc. And then switch to 128,000. So yeah, as you can see, crit damage does more damage than a 10% dex bow does. What are the cons? What are the pros? Pros are crit damage, you're going to be doing more damage all the time. The cons are your dex is less by like 100 or whatever. You have lower damage stats, so in like public eyes, when they inspect your character, they're like, why is your damage lower than normal but you're doing more damage? It's because of the crit damage. Like, look at my normal damage loadout here. I have 2900 dex, no pet equipped. I put this 10% dex bow on, it's 3100. But crit damage still does more damage than this. Crit damage is easier to find, cheaper, stuff like that, easier to awaken. Getting 10% dex is hard as hell. So, yeah, crit damage beats 10% dex. I'll do some more tests later on to show you guys how much more overpowered it is. Like last night, I was using Arcane Be Mine with no crit damage versus no pet with crit damage, and the crit damage outperformed Arcane Be Mine stats, which gave me like 4,000 player damage. It's insane. Crit damage versus Arcane Be Mine. So this loadout here, I've already got it set up. I have my Arcane Bracelet equipped, which gives me 20% crit damage on proc. Nothing else can proc to give me damage. The daggers are for a base proc with their DOT that's consistent, the same damage every time. I switched to this damage loadout that does not have an Arcane Bracelet on it, and it has nothing else that can proc as well. So I'm going to go to Elite Rahab Core real quick. And then I'm going to proc my bracelet plus my daggers, and then I'm going to switch to the damage set. You can see how much damage I do with this, if my daggers will decide to proc. So 216,000 damage, 216,563. 216.5 basically. And I have no pet equipped at all, as you can see on my rogue, no pets are equipped. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to equip Arcane Be Mine that's inside of this pet here. And then I'm going to take off this Arcane Bracelet, I'm going to put a legendary one on. And then now I'm going to go into Elite again and test the damage again. Wait for the, okay, no bracelet procced. Of course, 214,000. Basically 215,000 damage. The bracelet is doing more damage on its proc. It's giving me more damage than a whole entire Arcane Be Mine happiness bonus. That's how overpowered it is. I didn't think it was this overpowered, because the way Cinco explained it is completely incorrect. I should stop going by what the developers say, because half the things they say is incorrect. Because when I go to test stuff, it's just all over the place until I, like, whatever they say is all over the place until I test it. I'm like, okay, this is how it specifically works. Crit damage is a damage multiplier. So the way it works is, say if you have 50% boss damage, 50% elite damage, 25% stacking damage, 25% non-stacking damage, and all kinds of damage sources. If you do 100,000 damage in one hit with all of those damage sources and it's a crit, and you have 50% crit damage, at 100,000 turns into 150,000. It's that overpowered. It's a end damage multiplier, from what I've noticed. So yeah, crit damage is very overpowered. As you can see in these two tests, 10% Dexpo didn't even come cool. 10% Dexpo was close to beating it, so was Arcanite Beam Mine, but crit damage is still doing more damage. Anyways, good luck.